We are expecting major investments in housing and childcare as we await the BC NDP's first full budget since being elected. Haley Wooden with Business in Vancouver is joining us now. Haley, what are you watching for?
We're watching for, as you noted, the largest investments in housing and childcare. On the childcare front, this could look like additional spaces for families. The NDP has moved away from that slogan of $10 a day childcare, but according to official reports, whatever the NDP proposes will sort of embody the spirit of that plan. So we'll find out more about that. On housing, this is going to be a big one. We're going to be watching for how the NDP plans to bring online 114,000 affordable homes, which was part of their campaign promise. Those will be brought online over the next decade. We're also keeping our eyes open for a speculation tax on real estate. Could be around 2% on transactions done specifically for speculation in the real estate market. Other campaign promises, eliminating MSP premiums over the next several years, so we'll be watching for a plan for that. We'll also be looking for costs, projections, information tied to what will soon be a legalized cannabis market in BC, and we haven't had too many details on what that might look like yet, so we'll be watching for that. And the biggest thing, of course, is how the BC NDP plan on preparing for and funding some of the biggest social spending in key areas that we've seen in some time, or even historically. So we'll finally get some answers to that question.
All right, and Haley, switching gears, it's been a bit of a rough ride for the softwood lumber industry here in BC, but I understand it looks like the future could be bright.
Yeah, it does look like that. Things certainly could be more dire had the U.S. economy not been in a better spot. We have the latest data out in terms of U.S. housing starts. Those were at their highest level in 15 months as of January 2018, and the trend seems to be continuing fairly strongly. We're also looking at new builds, and they continue to climb steadily month over month. So that's a good thing for Canadian producers here. It sort of softened the blow that these duties have had, although they certainly have had an impact. Interestingly, we have seen that impact on both sides of the border, which Canadian government officials have long argued. Since these tariffs and duties came into effect, the U.S. Heritage Foundation has found that on average, the cost to build a home in the U.S. has gone up by around 7%. So those are costs passed on to those in the industry, and ultimately costs passed on to U.S. consumers too. So we will see volatility in price. Things are certainly a struggle for some producers in Canada, but overall the picture is fairly good for our businesses here.
Sounds good. Haley, thank you very much. And of course,